This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin is holding steady at 64,900 as the crypto markets await the EFF OMC minutes. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 is trading near its 5-day high, with the healthcare and utilities sectors leading the charge. SPY at $745.64, up 0.39%, and the healthcare sector climbing 1.17%. The market is showing early-season optimism. Let's go over the call grades from episode 135, starting with Pulse. I called bullish on QQQ, target $722.12. The market was flat, inconclusive. Grid.
Also called bullish on QQQ, target $722.12. Market flat, inconclusive.
CIPHER.
Called bullish on SPY, target $752. Market flat, inconclusive.
SPECTER.
I called bearish on SPY, target $735. Market flat, inconclusive.
Apex.
Called bullish on QQQ, target $725. Market flat, inconclusive.
Accuracy rates. Pulse 50%, Grid 50%, CIPHER 52%, SPECTER 45%, Apex 50%. SPECTER, you've been struggling. What's the plan?
I've been over-reliant on macro indicators without factoring in sector rotation. I'm shifting to focus on technicals and flow data to better align with the market's current bias.
Good, let's move on. Let's break down the broad market. SPY is at $745.64, up 0.39%, near its 5-day high of $748.94. The healthcare sector, led by the healthcare sector, is outperforming with a 1.17% gain. The VIX is at 16.7, still low. The yield curve remains flat at plus 0.43 pp. Let's hear from the team.
The flat yield curve is a warning sign. The market is overbought and not reflecting the underlying macro risks.
The Fear and Greed Index is at 62, neutral, but the price action suggests cautious optimism.
Grid.
SPY is just below its 5-day high. I see potential for a breakout if it closes above $748.94.
CIPHER.
Earnings momentum is strong, especially in healthcare. The sector rotation into the healthcare sector and the utilities sector is a sign of risk-on sentiment.
Apex.
The market is showing early-season optimism, but the flat yield curve and elevated inflation are still risks. I'm leaning bullish on QQQ and the healthcare sector, but I'll be watching the macro data closely.
Let's start with the S&P 500. SPY at $745.64, up 0.39%.
The index is sitting just below its 5-day high. If it closes above $748.94, that's a strong bullish signal.
The volume is in line with the 10-day average, which suggests no immediate overbought conditions. The earnings momentum in healthcare is a key driver.
SPECTER.
I'm cautious. The flat yield curve and elevated inflation suggest the market is not as strong as the technicals imply. A pullback is likely.
Let's move to the healthcare sector. The healthcare sector at $149.89, up 1.17%.
The sentiment is positive. Retail investors are showing interest in healthcare stocks.
Earnings from Actex, Piclar, and Rayaj have fueled speculation. The sector is outperforming, and the momentum is strong.
The healthcare sector is at a key resistance level. If it breaks above $152, that's a major bullish signal.
SPECTER.
The rally in healthcare is more about rotation than confidence. I still see risks in the macro environment.
Let's talk about the utilities sector. The utilities sector at $45.35, up 0.78%.
The sentiment is positive. Investors are favoring defensive stocks.
The sector is benefiting from the rotation into utilities, and the earnings are strong.
The utilities sector is trading near its 10-day high. A break above $46 would signal a stronger bullish bias.
SPECTER.
The underperformance in communication services and energy is a red flag. The sector rotation is more about risk-off than confidence.
Let's move to the tech sector. QQQ at $717.54, up 0.42%.
QQQ is near its 5-day high of $722.12. A close above that would be a strong bullish signal.
The earnings from tech giants like NVDA and MSFT are key. The sector is showing strong momentum.
The sentiment is positive. Retail investors are showing interest in tech stocks.
SPECTER.
The tech rally is more about speculation than fundamentals. I still see risks in the macro environment.
Let's move to the small cap space. IWM at $285.12, up 0.93%.
IWM is within its 10-day range. The volume is in line with the average.
The small cap rally is fueled by the broader market optimism.
The sentiment is positive. Retail investors are showing interest in small cap stocks.
SPECTER.
The small cap rally is more about sentiment than fundamentals. I still see risks in the macro environment.
Let's move to the communication services sector. Communication services at $115.46, down 0.55%.
The underperformance is due to weak earnings and a lack of catalysts.
The sentiment is negative. Retail investors are avoiding communication services.
Communication services is below its 10-day low. A break below $114 could signal further weakness.
SPECTER.
The sector is a laggard, and the underperformance is a warning sign. I still see risks in the macro environment.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on SPY. Let's dig into that.
Grid is focusing on the technicals, but the flat yield curve and elevated inflation are macro risks. The market is overbought.
I'm not dismissing the macro factors, but the price action and volume suggest a potential breakout.
The sentiment is positive. Retail investors are showing confidence in the broader market.
Let's hear from Apex.
Grid technicals and CIPHER earnings momentum are strong, but SPECTER macro concerns are valid. The market is in a delicate balance.
My 24-hour call. QQQ bullish. Target $722.12 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $722.12 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $722.12 by next session.
My 24-hour call, SPY bearish, target $731.53 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $722.12 by next session.
The market is showing early season optimism, with the healthcare and tech sectors leading the charge. However, the flat yield curve and elevated inflation remain key risks. Keep an eye on QQQ and the healthcare sector as they approach key resistance levels. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.